Steel with your host, Charles Barge Ritchie, here on the Man Steel Podcast.
This thing belongs to Mr. Roney, belongs here, and let's see if we can bring this damn thing back here next year, along with the Super Bowl. Here we go.
The game is over. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it the hard way.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker,
And good evening, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving, by the way, and welcome to this, a special turkey edition here of the Man Steel Podcast here with me, Charles Barge Ritchie. As you can normally catch me throughout the week, Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And right now, just taking a quick little break right now from football for right now, as we just saw today on the Thanksgiving tradition, the Bears, who actually just started the day defeating the Detroit Lions earlier, they keep their playoff hopes alive today. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, who was playing host to the Buffalo Bills this afternoon, who just got embarrassed on Thanksgiving, quite frankly, the way they put up. And it could have really helped out the Steelers in some ways, where they could have pulled within the game closer, and if they would have got at least within the game and they beat them head-to-head, they can hold a tiebreaker for the number 5 seed. But I got to tell you right now, the Bills' defense right now, Bills Mafia, they are definitely looking pretty good. They are playing with some moxie right now, as you can see, and we'll see where it goes. But I tell you what, I think the Steelers are definitely going to be up for a challenge when they do host them this time around, which will be for their final home game of the season at Heinz Field. That will be in Week 15 for that contest. And like I said, I mean, this is going to be a real interesting stretch right now because, like I said, you got only 2 out of the remaining 5 games we're going to be having home games. And that's going to be beginning this Sunday when the Steelers host the Browns at 12 p.m. on CBS Sports. Of course, when they host the Buffalo Bills in week number 15, that will be on December 15th, as a matter of fact. And I got to tell you right now, you got to feel like the Bills got a huge feather in their cap for right now. I mean, you look at everything that they had to put up with, including like their quarterback and stuff too, who I believe is Josh Allen right now of the Bills. And you got to believe right now, I mean, just doing what they're able to do in this regard. I mean, what can you really say? I mean, this is a team right now who is playing with a whole level of confidence right now at this point in time. I mean, you look at a lot of the teams they have beaten. They went actually 3-1 so far, I believe, in the NFC East, defeating the Giants, the Cowboys, the Redskins, with their only loss in the NFC East division was to the Philadelphia Eagles. And right now, I mean, you got Sean McDermott, who's definitely got this team going in the right direction right now. I mean, their defense is ranked number 3. I mean, obviously their offense is still coming a way to go. But, I mean, they're number 3 in total defense and number 3 in points for the time being for right now. But I'm just saying, be warned. I mean, this is a team right now who I believe that the Steelers got to match up with. I'm not going to lie to you. It could definitely be a long day. But I think the Steelers are definitely up to the challenge. We shall find out for that time. But for right now, the Steelers' main focus is right now is getting through the Cleveland Browns. And like I said it a few days ago. I said this on Monday, and I definitely do feel like right now it's definitely going to be an interesting tale of two cities right now. you have obviously got a chance to really right the wrong for what happened the first meeting, which happened a few weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. I mean, you got a guy in Mason Rudolph right now who still feels like he could be pretty confident if given another shake. But to be honest with you right now, I mean, you look at the difference, and like I said, I'm in Chicago. You look at a situation with the Bears right now, kind of similar to the Steelers right now, where both defenses are playing as hot as they've ever been. It just almost seems to be the issue in particular is the quarterback situation right now. And some may look at it as a quarterback controversy going on right now. I'm not going to say if I'm going to call it a quarterback controversy, but I think Mike Tomlin is definitely wise enough to realize how good of an opportunity they did by not throwing in the towel earlier in the year. I mean, the one thing you appreciate about Mike Tomlin, I mean, ever since being the coach of this team and still is to this point, and if you're to compare it to any other coach, including like Matt Nagy, the thing is, what I always respect about him is this. No matter what opponent he seems to go into or what matchup seems to be staring him in the face, what's always the main thing that becomes out of his mouth consistently is that they need to be focusing on us. And he tends to seem to be focusing on the team, their miscues, stuff they need to correct, and where they can be better in certain situations. And those are the things you got to look at as a coach. And granted, he may not always necessarily be a X's and O's guy, but I mean, he's definitely a motivator. Like Terry Bradshaw controversially alluded to him about almost 3 years ago when they were on the verge of clinching the AFC North. I mean, which more than likely is definitely going to be going to the Baltimore Ravens this year, right now. And you got like Earl Thomas right now in the AFC North guaranteeing that the Baltimore Ravens will be in the Super Bowl. I'll get to him in just a little bit later on. But I got to tell you right now, I feel like the Steelers team right now, I mean, if they could just stay where they're at right now, they could win this game against the Browns. This has got, I have no questions asked. I mean, this is a lot riding right here. And the ramifications for when you look at, because after them is the Oakland Raiders right now, who are also, I believe, like 6-5 for now, and then also you got following behind them in the AFC wild card. You also got the Colts, who are 6-5. Steelers on the tiebreaker over them, and then you got the Titans, Browns, and Jaguars. Titans, who are also 6-5, and the Browns and Jaguars. Browns are 5-6, while the Jaguars just lost in humiliating fashion this past week to the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee, I believe it was. They are 4-7. But yeah, I mean, this is really right now, and I really believe it's going to show you how much the Browns, like, seriously, they can be taken. I mean, so far, to my knowledge, they haven't had a loss in the AFC North Division. You've beaten 2 of your matchups so far in the Steelers and the Ravens. Granted, you haven't faced the second half of those opponents yet, of those head-to-heads. Still got to face the Bengals. And we'll see where it goes from there. But I can tell you what, you win this game, that's going to do a lot for their confidence, in my estimation. I just don't see how they will probably be able to slip up down the season and let something like this slip out of their hands. I really feel this Browns team right now, this is not a joke of a team anymore. This is a team right now who could really get together right now. And you got a guy like Freddie Kitchens, who a lot of people debated throughout the year if he was necessarily going to be the right guy to coach his team, lead them to where they need to be. And a lot of people had a little bit of a disagreement, not being on any coaching level. But I tell you what, he does this. He's going to be one of the first Brown coaches, like I said, since Myri Schottenheimer, who will be the last one to sweep the Steelers in the regular season as a Browns coach. That is something to think about. And the last time that's happened was 1988, the same year that the Chief Art Rooney passed away in the preseason. I really want people to really absorb this real quick. listen, I understand a lot of the concerns right now. I mean, this is not, I mean, a team to be trusted with. But I mean, at the same time, too, I mean, when you really think about everything, too, I mean, this is a Browns team right now who, when you look at it, seventh in passing defense. And you got a guy like Devin Hodges who ain't afraid to let the ball rip throughout, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I definitely got like I'm a little skeptic to be honest with you. And like I said, I really believe it's going to be interesting how much it's going to be dominated. This battle's going to be won at the line of scrimmage. Who can control that line of scrimmage? You put pressure in Baker Mayfield's face, and you meet the offensive line. You get in their grill, and you stuff them at the running game somehow. But I tell you what, trying to contain both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that's not going to be the easiest task to do in my estimation. I really feel like they got to come firing out of the gate. They got to send a message to them. They cannot let the Browns score first to start off the game. And that's what happened last time, let's not forget. I really believe the Browns, when they got the ball to start, I think they actually did end up scoring on them. And pretty much you saw what happened in that contest and what they were able to do, and they were able to take some advantage and carry some momentum in that game. And I just feel right now you gotta think about like a quick pace start in this contest when you take a look at it and see what happens when they get ready to go into the rematch against them. The only good thing about it is that it will be in Pittsburgh. It'll be in Heinz Field. It won't be in Cleveland. It'll be at Heinz Field, which is a big plus right there. But I mean, like I said, the Browns, I mean, who after the Steelers decided to receive for the game, decided to go out for a quick start for whatever reason, which I did not understand. When you got a defense that's playing as hot as they're doing, I would just deferred in that point. And I will probably defer again this week, only because you know what you can do. And I like the idea when you got a hot defense like this, who still could be takeaway savvy, create some turnovers, and that's what I want to do. I want to strike fear with this defense. Devin Hodges, I mean, yes, I mean this is a guy who set records at Sanford, but you know, another guy who's going to be very key in this game, too, and this is being known by Missy Matthews, Steeler reporter, and she's also the host of Steeler Live. She can be followed at Missy_Matthews. She also mentioned that Coach Tomlin said that Benny Snell's contributions to the game on Sunday were above and beyond our expectations in terms of how much he could play coming off a knee injury and be a rookie. Snell had career best 98 rushing yards in that contest. I mean, this past Sunday in Cincinnati against the Bengals. And you talk about a guy who's been missing in action for quite some time. And this guy did it off of 21 carries in this contest. And even though he didn't get any touchdowns, but he was able to get a catch for 5 yards in this contest. So he got a grand total 103 scrimmage yards. I really believe your running game's got to help out a lot better this time around. And that's what I'm saying. And like I said, we know how much emotion this offensive line could play with at times, the nastiness they could provide, and the mental makeup they like to carry for this team. My only concern is right now, you don't want to be overlooking anybody down the stretch. And you're in a position right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers when you really think about things and lay it down. There's only been probably about, I want to say, at least 3 times in the Mike Tomlin coaching era where they're in control of their own destiny. They lost control of it. And I want to say that was 2009 when they were the defending Super Bowl champions. And I believe they were 6-2 at one point. and they end up winding up to finish off the season at 9-7. I mean, they had a horrific whale of a collapse. I want to say they went like on a 4-5 game losing streak, and they still needed help in the final game. I mean, with a couple other teams, they did not get that when they defeated the Miami Dolphins. That's back in the 2009 season. And then you also had 2012 too. That was another season right there where the Steelers still had possibly a shot at the division, but more so the wild card than anything. And that was a stretch where Ben Roethlisberger got hurt when they were on a good stretch run in the month of October. That month, I think they only lost one game that year, and that was to the Tennessee Titans on the Thursday Night Football. But they were able, in my estimation, to beat the Bengals, and I want to say the Eagles earlier that month. Then, of course, later on, I want to say it was New York Giants. But I think Ben Roethlisberger, he got hurt shortly on a Monday night game against the Chiefs when they were hosting. And their misfortune started turning around right there. And I think they had 3 losses at that point in time. And then, of course, last year, I mean, where everyone will truly remember right there. I mean, at that moment, you're going into late Sunday afternoon game, a primetime CBS game in Denver against the Broncos. You lost against them, and then you lost against the Chargers at home on Sunday night, lost against the Raiders. You're able to beat the Patriots and then lose to the Saints. So basically, in that span right there, I mean, you went on a 3-game losing streak at 7-2-1. You're only able to win like 2 games out of your remaining 6, which really put a big damper in their playoff hopes right there, and really flat tire them, in my opinion. So it's only been 3 times, like I said, where Mike Tomlin, where they had control of their own destiny, and they blew it. And I gotta have confidence this time around that they could manage this time. I mean, it's simple right now. When you're ahead of teams right now, only you could blow this away right now. I mean, I don't want to be hearing about like looking for help right now. I mean, from like the Raiders, and of course, like I said, the other teams that were mentioned here. You also got the Titans and Jaguars. I mean, really, it's totally up to the Steelers right now to stay in control of this right now, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, me personally, I think that Mike Tomlin right now, he's got this team better than what he's coached right now. It'd be interesting if they do make the playoffs. I mean, how much is Mike Tomlin considered as a NFL Coach of the Year candidate for the tremendous efforts that he's been, and he'd be like the recent coach since Bill Cowher did it. He did it like twice with the Steelers in his tenure. And I'm trying to pull that up right now. And Bill Cowher, he actually did 2 times. Let's see. In his career. Or correct me if I'm wrong, it was just once, and that was back in 1992. He had it. But I'd be interested to see if Mike Tomlin would be able to join him in that area. I mean, Chuck Noll's never won Coach of the Year. I mean, with the exception of the Maxwell Football Club NFL Coach of the Year, but really AP is the main one that really sticks out. So let's go to some other trending topics here on the opening drive, too. We also got the injury report, like I had mentioned. And here's what the Steelers look like heading up against their Week 13 matchup against the Browns. Right now, you got at least right now who did not practice. You got 2 of your stars as of right now. And that's, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster and your left guard, Ramon Foster. Schuster, who actually just recently got cleared out of concussion protocol a few days ago. Now he's still dealing with a knee injury. He did not practice yesterday or today. Steelers, I believe, did have a practice earlier in the day before everyone got to gather with their families. And then you also had right now, too, Ramon Foster, he did not practice, not injury related. But James Conner, he was limited in practice today due to like a shoulder injury. He didn't practice yesterday. And of course, you got Alejandro Villanueva, left tackle, dealing with a shoulder injury. He was a full participant in practice today. So that's good news right there. But as far as Cleveland Browns go for their guys, they got 6 of their starters on the injury report right now. And you only got one of them that did not practice, and that was, of course, left tackle Greg Robson, who's dealing with concussion. The other guys that are being mentioned on here is your wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., dealing with a groin injury. He was limited in practice. Demetrius Harris, their tight end, who's got a neck injury. He was a full participant. Then, of course, you got Jarvis Landry, who's dealing with a hip injury, full participant. And then last two, you got Joe Schobert, who's one of your Mike linebackers, dealing with a groin injury. He was limited in practice. And, of course, Olivier Vernon, who's your right defensive end for the Browns, and he is dealing with a knee injury. And that's where he stands at the moment. He was limited as well as Olivier. And I guess, of course, comments, concerns right now. If you guys, I want to hear your thoughts, your concerns going to this Sunday's matchup when the Steelers get ready to face the Browns for a second time. What do you really get concerned with as far as like matchups or disadvantages? I want to hear from you. Again, you can feel free to hit up the phone number. That's 312-209-2232. Again, that's 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on social media on my Twitter, at Project Richie, at Masteel CJR. And of course, my live streams on Instagram, Masteel Nation, and of course, my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast, as we get ready to move further along right here. And like I said, I hope everyone's having a wonderful tradition right now, a wonderful Turkey Day right now with family and friends. And just want to take a special moment to just pay a shout out to my family and loved ones right there who've been with me, including my mom, who thanks again for cooking everything today. Definitely enjoyed. Right now I had a nice little taco salad, steak, and some other good stuff in a bigger square pie. So definitely stuffed as a goose right now. I don't know about everyone else. I just want to send love to my sister Charlene. Love you. Hope to come across you again soon one day and plan something. But right now, if any of you guys got any Thanksgiving memories you guys like to share, please feel free to share right now. I welcome this day for everybody as everybody gets ready to get some rest and prepare for some holiday shopping, more in particular on Black Friday. Also, here's another thing, too, that was noted by Pittsburgh Steelers beat reporter Dale Lyle of at DK Pittsburgh Sports. Tomlin and Hodges expect him not to kill us. And you know what? I think that was a very interesting thing. And when you say that from like a coach right there and Mike Tomlin, I think that says a lot. I don't know if he's like saying that is. I'm not saying it's an indictment against like a guy like Mason Rudolph, but I do feel like right now, I mean, it's like this is a thing right now where he doesn't want to make excuses for himself. He realizes how far this team has come, how they've been in it to win it, and who knows too. I mean, Kevin Colbert too. I mean, you gotta think like Kevin Colbert right now. I mean, one would think. I'm not saying he's necessarily like fighting for his job. But remember, his contract does expire after the 2020 NFL draft. So not too sure like how much more his future is going to be with the team. But when you make moves like this and you coach up a team and you have a lot of like interesting like new cats on the team who you did not expect to be here at this point in time, like right now, I think it was Karen White was one of the guys who one of your running backs. And And it was just a lot of interesting dynamics throughout the season. You see guys filling in that we haven't seen before. So also too, I want to note too that was mentioned by senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter. He can be followed on Twitter at Adam Schefter. Steelers linebacker Mark Barron was named Week 12 NFLPA Community MVP for distributing 1,500 turkeys to underprivileged families in his home state of Alabama for Thanksgiving. And that's definitely a well-deserved round of applause right there. Mark Barron right there, your inside linebacker. Great job right there. And that's one of the things, too, about like this time of holiday is a time of giving, just to be thankful and share a lot of grace for the people that you've been surrounded with. Now let's get ready to go with some topics of fair or foul. Fair or foul topic number one. Mason Rudolph, at some point in time, more particularly this season, he'll get another crack at the starting quarterback position. I have to say fair for right now. And listen, and here's the biggest thing I will say between the two right now. I mean, when you look at the biggest ultimate differences, I mean, where it's like coming off the bench or being as a starter, here's where it breaks down bottom line. Mason Rudolph is 5-4, while Devlin Hodges is 2-1. Yards per passing attempt, you got Devlin Hodges, who's averaging about 8 yards per passing attempt, while Rudolph has got about 6.2 yards. You got Rudolph, who's thrown for 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And you got Devlin Hodges, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And I think those are big key differences right there. And then you also look at it, too. You got Devlin Hodges got like about a 98 QB rating practically versus an 80 QB rating in Mason Rudolph. But I think the biggest thing to note is yards per attempt. And that's why, remember, you heard a lot of comments, from around him, teammates or whatever, people who have been observing him. He's not afraid to let the ball loose. He plays with a lot of confidence. And when I see those yards per pass per attempt go up, that tells me he ain't afraid to step up there and take chances. But, at the same time, he's taking a lot of smart chances, too. Let's not forget. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a guy right now who, Duck Dynasty, who I believe right now, you could make an argument for right now, and this is going to be my fair or foul topic number 2. Who do you think's had more the bigger impact on the Steelers season? Devlin Hodges or Minkah Fitzpatrick? Fair or foul to say that Devlin Hodges has slightly more of an impact? I'll probably say foul for right now. I love the fact that a lot of people are getting in on the duck chants and the support and the rally cry of a guy like Devlin Hodges, a guy who hasn't made it onto the 53-man roster initially at the end of the preseason, but at the same time, too, a guy, too, who has just been one of the guys. He's just been ready to be called upon when his role was needed. And that's one of the things that Mike Tomlin always liked. He's a guy who could stare in the face of a lot of adversity. I'd still have to go with Minkah Fitzpatrick, the guy who I think has helped turn this thing around tremendously. But at the same time, too, when you see a defense playing the way they do, you got to show some offensive production at the same time, too. And I think that's what you got to keep in mind for right now. And the Steelers are able to still be able to stay in this playoff scenario right now and still make it a dream season, a miraculous season at the same time. Sometimes the quarterback could be just the guy you need to steer the driving mobile in the right direction. You don't want to go off track necessarily in most ways. You want to be able to keep this thing trending in the right direction. You want to make sure you got guys who are all in with you and all support. And that's why I look at for biggest key differences. Fair or foul topic number 3. The Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges quarterback controversy is probably like the biggest one you've seen to date in Steeler history. I will probably have to say for right now, foul. I'll give you another example too, because you look at the history of the ones that have been out there most notably in the years. Even all those years since Terry Bradshaw went out on bad terms from the Steelers and broke away from the fans and retired. I mean, look at the other names. You also had, I mean, even in his playing day, he had Terry Bradshaw in their Super Bowl year, their very first one, had to duke it out with Joe Gilliam and Terry Hanratty. I mean, both of those guys who did not do much. I mean, yeah, Terry Bradshaw, I mean, he was definitely turnover prone, but he was a guy who wasn't afraid to air it out. He was still just coming into his own as far as like being a smart quarterback and be able to like not get some costly turnovers in this decision. I mean, there was a lot of times where a lot of people thought this guy was careless with the football. He played a little bit too loose, but at the end of the day, when he did show up and he helped contribute to those 4 Super Bowls, especially those final 2, he was definitely game on at the end of the day, no matter what people may say about him. And he definitely, I think, did a lot. And then the other examples you also have in here, too. You also got Mark Malone, Dave Woodley, and Sky Campbell in the mid-'80s. You got Bubby Brister, Todd Blackledge, Steve Bono in 1988. This is all mentioned by Dale Lally, by the way. Bubby Brister, Neil O'Donnell, Jim Miller, Mike Tomczak, Cordell Stewart and Tomczak in 1999, Kent Graham and Stewart, and then, of course, Stewart and Tommy Maddox. I'll probably go with Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox back in 2002. That was another year where the Steelers, who won the division the previous year at a 13-3 record, and he had Cordell Stewart, who showed flashes pretty much of his old self, finally snapped out of it. He really did go on like a 3-year period where a lot of people lost confidence in him, including Bill Cowher. He had a lot of his doubts right there. But I'll probably have to go with that as the biggest one. And that's going to do it to a wrap for this edition of the Men of Steel podcast. I just want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in here. Definitely want to say once again, happy and a blessed Thanksgiving. Definitely thankful for my family. Like I said, my mom, my sister Charlene, and all the family and loved ones and friends I come across the way, as well as like getting in the sports media field, especially doing stuff I loved and like podcasting for you guys, especially covering the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as an honor. And I also want to give some special shout outs to my guys who I usually have from guests as reoccurring from time to time. Brian DiArlo, CBS Sports. Of course, you got Tony DeFeo Behind the Steel Curtain. Also got another original one at PennLive.com, Jacob Klinger. And, of course, a couple of notable ones who I had as honorary guests. Got to speak with the legendary Bill Hillgrove, whose birthday was over a week ago. I got to talk to him. Chucky Okobe, happy belated birthday. Sorry I forgot to post, by the way. It was an honor to talk to you as well. Former offensive backup lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl 40 team. Very special to talk to all you fine young men out there. And, of course, a year ago, I had Cynthia Freeland of NFL Network talk day before Thanksgiving about the Steelers' preview against the Broncos, where they were at that point in the time. So, everyone, I just want to say thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be doing this as long as I did and to keep this going. And like I said, I just wish everyone all the ultimate upbeat best. And for everyone to enjoy, be safe, have a memorable one. Make sure you always spend it close with your loved ones, because you never know how much time you may have remaining or things may change. You never know. But just enjoy it for what it is, one day at a time, one moment at a time, and bless upcoming holidays. As always, leave you. Don't be trolling. Be royal. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Happy Thanksgiving. I gone.